Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the WOW Office Hours webinar. Today we're introducing actually a new series of Office Hours where the WOW team will be presenting some best practices and advanced tips to help you become a successful team. For those who don't know, the WOW team is actually the support and services teams here at Desk. And of course, our name implies that we want to make sure we wow our customers. So today we've chosen as our first topic to talk a little bit about CSat and specifically to introduce you to some new features that just came out and the best ways to actually utilize those. Throughout the webinar year, you can feel free to write in questions on the chat. There will be a session or part of the session later on where we will devote time to Q&A, but feel free to start answering questions throughout the entire session. We actually have a couple of the WOW team members monitoring those questions, so you should be able to get some personalized one-on-one help in this hour. So we'll start off with a few introductions. So my name is Cesar Ariola, and I'm the Director of Customer Engagement here at Desk. So I manage the WOW team, which again is made of support and services teams. And I also have a colleague here, Brooke Lane.
Good morning. I am Brooke Lane. I'm a Senior Product Manager here at Desk. I've been here about 2.5 years, and I was in charge of the development of our CSat product and its ongoing iterations.
Yeah, so we thought it'd be useful to have Brooke here to be able to answer some questions about some upcoming features that we're still working on. We obviously want to always continue to improve the service, and he'll be able to give us a little bit of insight. Okay, so just a very simple agenda. We'll start off with some demos of workflows that we think would make you guys very successful and really maximize the value of the CSat feature. And then we'll have some dedicated times for Q&A. And as a reminder, we will be recording this, so when we post it on our website, you'll be able to revisit it as needed. Okay, so as I said, this is the agenda, but we'll go ahead and get started with some just prepping the topic here. So hopefully all of you know about our CSat feature and the ability to include a mini survey on replies to customers where they can tell you, rate how you did in that support engagement. Today, and if you have questions on how to set that up, feel free to ask those. What I want to concentrate on today were some of the more advanced features that were just introduced a couple weeks ago, and specifically a workflow on how to make sure that any cases that get reviewed, with a negative rating, you're able to actually quickly follow up and see how you can make that experience for the customer better. So it's a little mini workflow, which we say how to save a bad CSAT. So we'll jump right into that. Let me switch screens right quick. All right, so hopefully you can see my screen coming up now, which is the Desk agent. And so I have a couple of, this is my test site, so I have a couple of emails that have come in from Cesar. He apparently has a lot of questions. And so if I go into any of these emails, and this person has a question about some errors in their logs, and as an agent, I reply out, right? The way I have my CSAT set up is that on every resolve, it will send out the CSAT survey and the reply thing. So let me click on send and resolve. Okay, so that's really nothing too new. But what we'll show you is a workflow that will automatically label some bad CSATs with a label, and if you want, a notification. So while we wait for that to happen, let me actually just show you how to set this mini workflow up. So I've just switched over to my admin, and if I go into the rules, also under cases and then rules, you're probably familiar with all these rule types. What was just introduced was this CSAT submitted rule. And just a little primer on rules. These rules are event driven, so these will run when the event happens. So for the CSAT submitted rule, these will run whenever there's a CSAT submitted. So in order to really be able to review these cases, you probably want some type of notification or workflow that will ping your team to try and review the case and save it. So the first rule here is operation save a CSAT. So if I open it up, it's a very simple rule. Again, this will run whenever there's a CSAT submitted. And the condition is just simply if the customer satisfaction score, there's a new condition here available, is less than or equal to fair. And so less than or equal to, just like on any other rules, imply, it's like a list, sorted list order. So it'll be 1 or 0, because that's less than or equal to this. If I were to say less than or equal to 3, it would include 2, 1, and 0. So let's leave it at less than or equal to 1. And the condition that I have is simply to add a label called review CSAT. You can name it, name your label whatever you want. And I'm also going to set the status back to open. All right, so this, since the original response from the agent resolved the case, this extra action will open it back up and let your team know that it's still an active case that needs to be responded to. So it's very simple to do this. Please note that there's actually a support center article that explains all of these rules, so you can always reference those later. But I just want, I think this is good to show you sort of live action on this. Let me go ahead and pause my screen so I can respond to the email. Okay, so here's the email that I get as a customer from the response from the agent. And so what I'm going to do is actually go ahead and rate this a bad rating. And I'm just going to go ahead and submit. Okay, so now back in my agent, I can see that in this filter that I created, the case that I just submitted that I actually rated as bad comes in, and the review CSAT label is added. So if I look in here, I can see that, okay, it was rated badly. And so now your agents know that it needs to be reviewed. The status is set back to open, so it's a call to action for them. And if you want, you can provide this filter as well, right? So it's probably the best practice to provide a filter for your agents to to quickly see cases. If I were to respond back out to the customer, send resolve, this will give the customer a chance to maybe rate it better next time, because we've taken the extra effort to show them a better response. While we're waiting for that, let me show you a rule that will trigger when a customer actually rates a badly rated case great next time. So it's also, actually before I do that, so you can see it's also a CSat submitted rule. And the first time we looked at the operation save a CSat, which marks a badly rated case as needing review. This one, saved case, will essentially it'll check to see if the CSat rating is now greater than or equal to 2, so 2 or 3. And if it contains a review CSat label, then it'll actually append a CSat save label on it. Right, so that allows you to track how many cases you're actually able to save. All right, so now let me pause again and go to my email to re-rate the case. Okay, so here's my second response. So I'm going to say, great, this time did a much better job. And so now I'm back at my agent view here. And you'll notice that the badly rated CSat is now not in the low CSat cases filter because it's been saved. So if I go to this filter that I created, save CSat cases, I noticed that this is the one that I saved right here. It's now rated great, and it has a CSat save label on it, right? So it's a very simple workflow to, one, alert your team that there's a case that's been rated badly, lets them try and review the case and save the case by providing, a little extra love on the case. And then when hopefully the customer responds again with a better rating, you'll be able to track that with these labels. So again, very short, very easy workflow, but one that we ourselves use here at Desk, and it's proven to really increase our CSAT ratings because customers appreciate the extra help given on cases where they've told us that they weren't satisfied with the response. For now, I'll turn it over to Brooke that can tell us a little bit about some new features that are coming up with CSAT that'll continue to expand the value of this feature.
So as with most products at Desk, we try to take an iterative approach to product development. With CSAT, we launched the original CSAT scoring mechanism itself, and then have added to it over time. The most recent upgrades to it have been what was just demonstrated by Caesar, the ability to create CSat rules and the ability to create CSat filters. And so we can continue to listen to our customers, what their needs are, and that's how we develop the majority of our roadmap. So with CSAT, some of the things that customers are asking for in the future, the next thing that we're going to release is the ability to send a customer satisfaction survey with every interaction. So currently the two choices are with first resolution and with every resolution, but we have had a number of customers who've requested with every interaction, whether it's a resolution or not, and so we'll be releasing that in the coming month or month and a half. And then we have also, it's been a request to us to do CSAT as a notification rule so that you can send out a survey separate from the interaction email itself. And so we have plans to work on that in the coming months as well.
Yeah, and just to point out a little bit more about the feature to allow the CSAT to be included in every resolution. There was a question that came up on how do we set up CSAT, so I can take opportunity to show you, to answer that question and show you a little bit more about what Brooke was referring to. If you're on the right billing plan, you have under cases a section here called customer satisfaction. And so all you have to do is enable CSat, and you can change the question that you sent out, the feedback question, and then you can choose when to send this. So right now, there's the option of with every resolution, or just with the first resolution. So there will shortly be a third option that says with every interaction, not just on resolution. And then you can choose the type of feedback, whether it's a 2 rating option or the 4. By default, it's the 4, and you get these smileys here. And then this is the extra question that you can ask customers when they click on the email smiley. It'll bring up a web page that will allow them to type in some free text response. So this is the question that you can change for that as well. So that's the third option will be with every interaction. And then for the second item that Brooke pointed out, notifications. In Desk, you can use notifications to either notify your team internally about something, or you can actually send out notifications out to your customers. And we've heard customers ask for the ability to send out the CSAT survey triggered on some other condition besides those 3 that are by default. And in order to do that, we will allow the CSAT survey to be embedded within the notification theme. At that point, you can use rules just like you can today to say send out this notification when these sets of conditions are met, and you just choose the notification that has a CSAT embedded in it. So that's the second thing that will be coming up shortly. Okay, so that moves us on to the Q&A session here. And we've quickly answered one of the first questions about how to set up CSAT. I went quickly through it, but just note that if you do have any more questions, there's an article that you can click on right from the CSAT page that will walk you through a little bit more in detail. But as you can see, it's fairly easy to configure.
One of the things that we like to really encourage our customers to do is think through those feedback questions. We give you some default questions, but really this is the voice of your organization speaking in these feedback questions. And so if you're selling bespoke tailored suits versus board shorts, you might have an entirely different kind of attitude going into these questions. So take a little time to tailor those questions to not only the information you desire to get back from your customers, but also the voice of your company.
Okay, so we have a couple of questions, and let me read them out. So one question that we get asked is, how do you change the image from these smileys to something that it's fits in with your branding a little bit better? So that's something that we will also be working on in the future to make it part of the configuration. But today you do have the ability to change that as well. So it requires a little bit of HTML coding, but it's fairly simple. So the two things that you want to change is one, the reply theme. And let's go to that. So if I go to the channels and email, and then reply themes, I have tons of reply themes. So right now I'm using the default CSAT reply theme, but I've actually, right before this webinar, I created this custom one that allows me to really change the image that's used. So if you're familiar with the reply themes, you'll see that there's a lot of coding here, but you really just need to look for one specific spot, right? So where it says customer feedback, 4-star rating, this is telling Desk, what images to use. And if it seems a little too confusing, just note that I've created an article that also walks you through this so that you can reference it later. You'll notice that all of these have image links here. And so what you would want to do is to actually change this to a URL of an image that you've hosted somewhere, right? So it's just an HTML source tag. And so at that point, all you're doing is changing the URL. In this example, I've actually changed the last rating here. So instead of the really happy smiley face, I've chosen this image here. And so this is the URL for it. So it's just a big thumbs up. And so just by changing that, you can see the difference between this source tag and the default, which is this. That allows you to use your own image. So that will change the reply theme images. And of course, in this example, I just changed one of them. You would want to change, all 4 of them. But you also want to change the image on the support center. Because as you remember, when a customer clicks in the reply theme for the smiley, then you will actually need to change the web page that they get sent to, where they can add the free text comment as well. So if I go to the support center and go to the themes, the web themes, again, I've created a whole bunch here. And so right here, I'm using the default one. Let me find the one that I changed. Well, actually, let's just go ahead and do it for real. So this is just a warning saying that I'm changing the default editor. So I'll go ahead and continue. And so this allows you to get into the advanced editor. And again, this may seem a little scary if you aren't familiar with the web theme or HTML, but there's an article that tells you exactly how to do this with screenshots. So at the bottom of this, you see the CSat new section. So if I just click on that, it basically brings me, these are sections of the web theme. So I've essentially chosen to land on the section that's just for the CSat. And there's, if you remember the reply theme, this block sort of is the same as the one in the reply theme, where there's 4 ratings and there's an image here. And so here's the source for the image of the smiley. All you would want to do is replace this with exactly the same URL that you've used in the reply theme. So it's as easy as that. The only prerequisite is to have your images hosted somewhere. If you don't have an easy way to do that, like on your domain, an easy way to do this is actually to use our articles here. So if I just create a new article, and so here I created this thumbs up article, and I uploaded the image here, and so that's what this image is here. When you update this, Desk will actually send this image up to a web bucket of yours. And so all I did was use the URL for this image in the source URL. So it's very easy to do. Again, there's a full article for that. Actually, I can just pull it up. Under admin, there's a section called mini workflows. And so here's one on how to do the workflow for the saved cases. And you can see it has a lot of screenshots, so you can reference that as well. So another question was, what percentage of cases do customers typically leave a CSAT score for? it's a little bit difficult to say exactly what they are. It depends on the type of customer relationship that you have with your customers. It also depends on your settings, whether it's on every resolution or just the first resolution. But typically for our own CSAT, it's a pretty high rate of around 30-35% replies. For us, that's good because the volume of cases that we have, that translates into statistically significant number of CSAT ratings that lets us really feel confident in the overall CSAT that our team is getting. And then a follow-up to that question was, of those cases that get rated, how many of them have a comment attached? That I actually don't know a real response rate. It's far fewer than the CSAT. The reality is we designed a CSAT with the smileys because we realized that it would be much more likely that a customer would just be willing to take one click for it than to write a full response back, even though we give them the option. So it's much smaller percentage of cases that have comments, but for our own sake, it's about 35% ratings. Okay, so another question was, some people have noticed that there are new conditions that can be used in rules. And so what is the difference between the CSAT submitted rule and the customer satisfaction selection as a condition in other rules? So I'll let Brooke take that one on.
So the way I like to look at it is, if we look at the CSAT rule types, and the first one is that you might notice is the customer satisfaction submitted rule. And so these are rules based on the customer actually clicking on the smiley on the case or on the email response itself. And so you're able to take action on that case based on the click, the rating the customer left. The rules or the CSAT conditions within other rules, let's go to a case reopen. So a CSAT condition within one of these other rules is based on the CSAT on that case. So you might notice that you can say, if a case that already has a customer satisfaction score that is poor comes in or is reopened, then I might want to escalate that to my tier 2 agents so that they can give that customer white glove service. So again, the CSAT submitted rule is based on the clicking of the CSAT. The conditions within the rest of the rules are based on the existing CSAT score on that case.
Yeah, and another way to think about that is, when I was showing you the mini workflows, there were two filters that we use, low CSAT cases and saved CSAT cases. In order to do that, you need a condition to check. And so these are the two filters that I created. So if I go to the low CSAT cases, I'm checking, status is less than or equal to resolve, and the customer satisfaction is less than or equal to unfair. So this condition here, in addition to being able to be used in rules, they're really useful in filters, because then you can just categorize your cases according to the CSAT. Same thing with the save CSATs. So in here, I'm saying right here it contains CSAT saved, but you could also use the condition of customer satisfaction score. Okay, another question that is coming in is about reporting, and what are different ways to check how many cases you saved with this mini workflow. And so the best way to do that is to use a segmentation report. You can actually use any report you want, but I particularly like the segmentation report. One, it's a report that probably not too many customers are familiar with, because it's they're there's so many other great reports, but the segmentation report lets you compare two different segments. So in this example that I have here, I've selected to show the label segment, and I chose CSat. So I searched for my CSat labels, and I know it's these two right here: CSat Save and Review CSat. Right. So I want to compare these two, and so obviously I have very few very low numbers here because it's just a test environment. But what you can see here is that there's 3 columns or 3 bars. This is the all column. So if I just want to compare the review, there were 4 reviews and I saved 3, right? And on this week there were 4 reviews and I actually saved all 4 of them. So this is a great way to see your save rate. Someone asked about the percentage of cases that were rated. Another percentage you want to start looking at if you do use the save process is how many you're actually able to save. And as we mentioned early in the meeting, in the webinar, CSat is available to the Pro and Business plans. And so there was a question on how do you know which plan you're on. If you're a billing admin, you can go to the billing section. Actually, it won't show up here because I'm using a trial site. But when you go to your billing site, you'll actually have a little section up here that tells you what plan you're on. And if you're interested in knowing what each plan actually gives you, there's an easy way to do that. So if you just go to Desk.com, there's a pricing page. And so it shows you all the different plans we have. And there's actually, if you scroll down, there's a compare plans section. And then you can see all the different features that are available in the different plans. So CSat is one of those that is available for the Pro and the Business plans. If you're ever wondering what the other plans give you, this is an easy way to do it. So again, just go to Desk.com, click on the pricing plan, and then scroll down and you'll see a link that says compare plans. So that's how you know what each one gives you. All right. Well, it looks like we have answered most of the questions here. If you do have any questions as you're trying to implement this workflow, please feel free to reach out to support@desk.com. We have a full team ready to help you with any of your questions. You'll also get an email letting you know that the recording has been posted so that you can review it, revisit it. And please feel free to also look at the articles that show you step-by-step how to implement some of these workflows. We look forward to having you come on to our next Wow Office Hours webinar. Have a good day.